Welcome in TNCRadio.live. It's Friday night. That means it's time for Driver Nation. I'm Tom Kelly along with Gary from Gary's Apps and Steve from Rideshare Rodeo. Happy to have you all in here this evening talking all things on the gig economy here on a Friday night where a lot of people seem to be heading out already for vacation and all that kind of good stuff. Huh, guys?
Yeah, I guess. Seems early for a vacation, man.
Yeah. Not yet. I don't leave till next week. So
okay. Well, I already see a bunch of people hitting the roads, and they said this was one of those busy travel days and all that kind of good stuff. Hey guys, forgot to mention, got a new sponsor for this evening, and I got to play one of their commercials right up front. You ready?
Yeah.
Nice.
Gary'sApps.com is the destination for apps that helps gig workers be safer, more focused, and more proficient. The Maximo app, which is spelled Maxymo, it helps Uber, Lyft, and Grubhub drivers by automatically switching between apps and turning them on or off as needed. For example, if a driver accepts an Uber trip, Maximo will turn off all the other apps that are online, and when the trip is completed, it'll turn the apps back on for the driver. It will also auto-accept or decline offers based on the driver's personal preferences that they set directly in Maximo. Then they have the Driver's Utility Helper app, also known as DUH, which is similar to Maximo, but is only for DoorDash drivers. It as well can help by automatically accepting or declining offers, in addition to showing drivers on-screen information such as the per-mile rate and how long until the delivery is due, which will allow the driver to make a decision quicker when the request comes in. The last app is Flex Alert for Amazon Flex drivers. It takes the hassle out of tapping the screen for hours on end, which can be exhausting, by automatically tapping the refresh button for the driver and then alerting them when a new block appears. This way they can focus on a more important task, driving. Find out more at Gary's Apps, GARYS apps.com for more information and download the apps you need today.
How about that?
that's awesome.
Bill.
Yeah, that's great.
I got to play
Gary's
around
going
with.
to need a copy of that we can use for some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to turn down the music a little bit more on that one. I was still messing with that when we were going live here, but you get the general idea. I think we're pretty much. We'll have a couple of different versions of that cut up because I can't always play. I think that was like a minute 36 or something.
Yeah, I think whenever I typed it out for mine, it was like a minute 26 or something like that total. Yeah.
So we'll have a couple of different versions of it cut up. But there you go, Gary's Apps getting some press out here right off the start here on a Friday night, talking all things in the gig economy. Did you guys have a good week?
Yeah, I had a pretty good week.
Yeah.
Great.
What about you? How'd your week go?
Okay, I've been fighting the crud like everybody else. Some congestion and that kind of stuff. It's got my ears messed up, and that's not good when you live in radio when your ears are messed up. But
yeah, I've been fighting that crud for like 2 weeks now or something like that. And now it's just like, I don't know, like a frog in my throat basically now.
Yeah. And this time of year too, and I think everybody has this time of year, one of those weekends where everything's happening. And that weekend was last weekend for us, where we had a big Christmas party we were hosting and my wife's concert and all this stuff going on. And to be honest, since that's over, I get to take my foot off the accelerator and just kind of chill out a little bit. And so we're getting there.
So you're in relaxation mode till the end of the year.
Almost. I've got this show, and we've got a live show on Monday that we're doing, and then that's it as far as live shows in the evenings for the rest of the year. So that'll be nice.
Nice.
Yeah, my boss don't allow me to have rest of the year off. Steve, slave driver, and so now we got next Thursday, the following Thursday.
Hey man, we got the one before, we got Thanksgiving off.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gave you Thanksgiving off. What are you complaining about?
Yeah, One day a year. That's what we get.
Yeah, the show's on a Thursday.
Mm.
Eventually, Christmas will fall on a Thursday.
5 years from now.
Which means New Year's will too. So,
all right. So we didn't have a chance to huddle much before the show started. All kind of came running in here at the very last second. So I don't have an agenda right now as far as things that I feel like we need to talk about. Though I do want to continue to, because I've been pushing on it throughout the last couple of weeks, talking about electric vehicles and some of the panacea that's there that maybe people don't realize. Some of this is a panacea. I don't remember how much we talked about that last week because like I said, I've been talking about it on a couple of different shows, but I'm becoming more and more concerned as I see more and more people out there thinking that this is somehow the solution to all the world's problems, is that we're going to put lithium batteries in every car or put everybody in a lithium battery car or truck and everything's going to be just fine. And it's not that I have anything against electric vehicles, nothing against electric vehicles at all. I have nothing against Santa Claus either. And one of them is a really good story, and one of them's a total myth. So, and I would never call Santa Claus a myth. So I'm just saying, I'm nothing against it, but I think we got to get real about what we're really talking about.
With Santa Claus? He's not real?
How do you propose that happens though, Tom? I mean, literally. Maybe the new year, again, everybody tries to get their last pitch in right now, how the world's going to change. And, oh my gosh, it's going to happen in the next 3 months. You know, but I mean, there are people who are very into the EV movement, which, I mean, let's face it, all of us would be too in 15 years, but we just think that the hybrid model was even skipped over too quick. But there are people that even in that starting to go, man, I did the math. It doesn't work.
And that's is that I want us as good conscientious people who actually are paying attention to the world to be able to step up and say, here's the truth of it. And when we hear people telling a lie, make sure that it's clear that, ask them the right questions, not in a berating manner necessarily, but ask the right questions, because people aren't asking the right questions right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's bigger thing, one of the stories out there that we were going to talk about last night that we didn't, actually has to do with Lyft and EVs, but there's even bigger things out there than that. I mean, I was going to make a joke tonight about how Lyft is offering $150. I didn't see how often this is. Maybe let's just say per month for a minute to EV owners in California. And I was thinking, does Lyft have $150? Are they going to pay for 2 drivers and then be broke?
Yeah, apparently.
Limit the first 100 drivers or something.
I mean, anyway, there's bigger problems, and one of them right now, I don't know if Tom, you saw, I texted you. I know it was a little bit of a deep dive, so you might not have looked. I sent it to Gary as well. It is a big deal. The RDU, the Rideshare Drivers United, is actually getting built. They just had a comments page that had a ton, but they're actually they're taking the RDU's language and they're going to move it into the Biden proposal. And it basically, let's get down to this real quickly. It says in there, if you have to paraphrase the 4 pages from the document that they're getting into this, it basically says, if you're not an employee, you're not a rideshare driver.
So if you're not W-2, you're not a rideshare driver.
Correct.
Then what would you be?
Well,
unemployed.
Unemployed?
Yep.
Well, that's the end of rideshare.
Well,
I mean, if they, it depends how far this gets pushed. I mean, Luckily we saw the PRO Act come real close, but it didn't happen. Yet we've talked about this so many times on this show, on other shows. Most people, and I still stand by this. I mean, I doubt anybody here tonight even really. I've just really been around a crowd that understands a lot of this, and I get talked to sometimes even too much for me on this, but you don't know how close that PRO Act was. And if it would have happened, it would have been like an AB5 thing, but for the nation, because if it happened, I mean, when AB5 happened, even after it passed, nobody believed it was going to do all the things it did. Mm-hmm. And those who tried to figure out, okay, what if it does do all this stuff, had no idea to the magnitude of which it would destroy businesses and livings and all this kind of stuff. And the PRO Act is just as bad. It's equally as bad. And now the fact that, I mean, look at, we've had some broken deals too here, because the FTC should not be working with the what is it? The National Labor Relations Board. So the NLRB. Those two entities aren't supposed to work together. They're totally moving into the same house together and getting married. I mean, this is ridiculous. and now the DOL is gonna the Department of Labor is gonna take on Rideshare Drivers United. And here's my biggest issue with it is that let's be nice and call it 20,000. Let's say that 20,000 like true drivers are pushing for this. Do you know that we have 100-fold that many that would say, no, we don't want this? But the way that the language is worded, it sounds like every rideshare driver except for 1 in every 1,000 wants this. And I think this goes to show one of my problems with this is that when things like this get pushed through, it's the people who really care and don't want it aren't making noise about it because we don't know. Most people don't know to do it.
Right. Exactly.
I mean, it's worrying me because, again, the PRO Act was close. AB5 happened, you guys. Go look at it. Prop 22 got challenged in court this week. And there's not a complete breakdown of what happened or how it's going to get extended. Uber is suing the city of New York, which it agreed to on December 19th, move the rideshare pay up, and now it's suing them and saying it won't. It waited for the Christmas surprise. I mean, it's known this December 19th date for 5 months, and it waited till this week to drop it, the lawsuit.
Steve, this is part of the problem, though, is that with all that we've been saying, with all the concerns around AB5 and Prop 22 and all that kind of stuff, one of the things that we cannot produce, you and me, right this minute, are Uber drivers who can no longer drive Uber because of any of these laws.
Right.
And until people actually lose their jobs and until people go, what, I can't do this like this anymore? Until the worst happens, nobody believes us. We're Chicken Little with the sky falling. And
I think some people believe us because Washington State has moved into their model. California's in its. I mean, people have seen, oh yeah, I've heard about that. And there's a Prop 22 that helps them though. Really? Why are they striking then? Or why did they try and strike when the only part of the deal of Prop 22 that they got, the gig companies, was you guys can't unionize and strike. So they decided Prop 22 wasn't enough about a month or so back and decided, you know what, we should strike because this Prop 22 isn't enough.
But that's what they voted for.
Right. The only thing they voted for was that we can't strike. And now they're like, we have to strike. It's just absurd to me. And I know that they're now claiming that they want to tear down Prop 22. Yeah, I don't know.
Well, I think some of the people that are, like, for example, some of the drivers that were for Prop 22, they were misled by gig companies to tell them that this is going to be better for them. And they just believed them. And now that it actually happened, they're like, wait, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. Because, like every time something new happens, they put some announcement in their app saying, hey, do this, your rights are being taken away, blah, blah, blah. They fearmonger. And
Right.
so
Well,
drivers rush out to do that.
The other thing, though, is that Prop 22, I mean, Rideshare Road Warrior Rick comes in a lot. He's in California. Most people in California, luckily a lot of our crowd from California even openly admits, I like Prop 22. And I'm like, no duh, you do, because it's extra, it's free money. It's free money for not, and it's being subsidized, whether we want to talk about it or not on a national scale, but the other states that are going to be transforming are not as pretty as a Prop 22. And like we talked about last night, Gary, I mean, if every one of the 50 states even found some form of this, these companies wouldn't, I don't even know if they'd go to franchise or employee model. They might just pack it up.
No, they would try something. I mean, yeah,
they'd try. I think they'd try and fight it in court.
The most profitable way for them, though, would be an employee model. I mean, just realistically, because then, they got you on as a W-2, an actual W-2. You can't decline rides. You can't do anything. You have to have a schedule. So that means, you have, and they could then fire you if you're taking too long on rides too.
But here's where, think of the amount of churn rate for drivers and whatnot, and think of the amount of people that they'd have to fire, because these people wouldn't just go, I'm going to quit. They'd wait till they get fired. And the more people you fire, the more through the roof your insurance goes. I mean, if you are just constantly getting people unemployment.
Well, yeah. So the first thing they're going to do is stand by. Sorry. First thing they're going to do is everybody that they fire, they're going to say, no, he's not eligible for unemployment. And here's why. And it'll be because he violated company policy and that kind of stuff. So, which also is not a positive thing, but I don't know. But we don't have the right attention of the right people. And
the other thing to look at too is, even those going, well, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I do want it. Remember that if you do, watch what you wish for, guys. Because first of all, I have really dug into this stuff, and there's not a lot of pretty in it. If you're thinking, wow, more pay and better this, it really doesn't equate that way. The pay doesn't come out to more. I mean, Prop 22 is a bad example, but the pay doesn't come out to more. The benefits really don't weigh. Getting them can be very hard. I mean, it's a push. It's a push in the direction of, and we say this over and over and over, but this is the last show of the year. We need to talk about this. It's a push for the unions, because when we come back, we're going to the next Driver Nation show we do in 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Right.
We might already be talking about Massachusetts, because it might move that quick.
I'm betting we will be by then.
I mean, other states too, but I'm saying like that one might already be in place to go on the 1st, not to start to make through January, make its plans on how it's going to, come about. But I'm just saying, like this one, like they don't need they're not waiting anything. They could be making the plan right now.
Thanks, Steve. I'm freaking depressed already on a Friday night. Oh, well. I'm going to take a break on the radio side. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Steve's ruined my weekend already. We'll be back. Stay tuned.
I didn't do nothing. I mean, it's
Steve,
it's true, though.
Did you see my start comment that I did for you?
Yeah, I think I addressed it. Let me see. So, hey, what's up, Trader? What's up, Lisa? What's up, Josh? I'll get to that in a second. How much influence will the rideshare driver see? Well, yeah. So I was saying I think I addressed that because they have their voice of whatever it is, 30,000,
right?
But really, that if you took all the drivers who just don't know and all the people we know, just even the part timers, the full timers, whoever, my guess is about 1% probably want unions. And yet they can get something pushed through because nobody knows that we're supposed to be dealing with this on this side, even though I've been shoving this down everybody's throat. And I know Tom was saying, some people just don't believe. They're starting to believe because it's not a conspiracy theory. It's already happened in the States. Not we're going to see the changes. We are in some states going to see the changes, but it's already happened in 2 states. Like Washington State already went live for the rideshare part of it before the new year. And they had the new year targeted as their peg. They're already live with the new or Prop 22 type system. Those two states will look a lot similar. The other ones will not. I was talking with Kim Cavan, who told me that the copycat ABC bill is back on the plate again for this year to push it through in New Jersey. They're still trying to push it in the next 2 weeks through in New Jersey again. I mean, it's bad, guys, and nobody, we got to pay attention to this stuff. We got to, I mean, I don't know. It's not. I'm not saying all 50 states are going to go. They're not, but we've been saying some states are. So when the new year comes and they do, make sure you are checking out the lives, because we're going to be. I've been following a lot of this, so it might not come as much of a shock to me. I'm kind of a little bit even prepared. I'm just wondering what they will and won't do. So,
just saying that, how bad you're going to get screwed.
Dude, I mean, and again, I look at it too I'm not just looking at it from gig apps. I'm looking at it from self-employed, freelancers, all that kind of stuff that just, this isn't deserved, is what it is. I mean, it's just, I really don't get it either. It's not going to create jobs. We still have the question out there, how many jobs did AB5 create? We're yet to have an answer. Okay, so it's let me see what one of the things Kim said was so yeah.
All right, we're back on the radio side. 3, 2, 1. Sorry for that delay. TNCRadio.live. That was completely Steve's fault, because he forgot to do something to get everything ready to go on the radio side.
I forgot to turn the flux capacitor.
That's right. Yeah, completely messed up the capacitor, and so we'll blame Steve. There you go. Yeah, totally my fault. I was actually I should blame Gary, because I was messing with the Maximo ad, and that really off there. So.
Wait. So you're gonna blame?
Why don't we blame Jason Thierry, because he's not here?
Actually, Rideshare Lisa. Rideshare, is she on tonight? Yeah, Rideshare was totally her fault that we came back late on the radio side.
I can live with that.
Yeah. Okay.
At least it's your fault.
I mean, unless she calls in or joins, she can't defend herself.
Defend
yourself, Lisa.
Yeah. So too bad, Rideshare Lisa lets us down again. It's not the first time. It won't be the last, I'm sure.
Oh my gosh, Lisa's awesome. Let me see. Oh, I said hi to a couple people. Let me see. What's up, Josh? What's up, Traditional IC? What's up, Kevin? What's up, Ceci? How are you? What's up, Josh? I said Rideshare Lisa, Dashing Trader, and Jay over on Facebook.
Yeah, and for those on the radio side, if you want to see our beautiful smiling faces, you can see us on Rideshare Rodeo on YouTube as well. We are simulcasting to both at the same time. That's
right. Thank you very much for that. And, of course, you can give us a call at 706-862-8620. That's 706-TNC-0. Love to have your calls, so give us a call. We'll put you right through. So, guys, let's go back and talk for a moment about about some of these issues around electric vehicles. Did we? I'm sorry. Did you say let's not?
No, I said let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. All right. So did we talk last week about any of this? I can't remember which show that I discussed some of this on.
I don't believe we talked about EVs last week.
I don't think so.
So here's the thing. Something to keep in mind. To build a lithium battery, there are several pieces that are needed. Okay, as far as the parts, the makeup of a lithium battery. There's lithium, right? cobalt, and several other raw materials that are required. Okay. We, as scientists, have looked across all of the planet Earth, looked at where they believe all of these materials are, what it would take to get them out of the ground, where are they right now, all of the different things that people are doing to get the stuff out of the ground. And here's the deal. If we got let's say we're going to change out all of the cars in America by 2040 to be electric vehicles. Okay. Right. And in the process, we got all of the cobalt out of the ground that exists in the entire world.
Right.
We would need close to 65% of the cobalt that exists in the entire world to build one set of batteries for America.
Right. I mean, I believe. I mean, there's some big battery stuff going on right now.
No doubt.
Trying to get away from that, but I hear you. But again, it makes all their dates phony, is what it does.
Right. It's not here now. That's my point. Is you can sit here and tell me all day long about how much these batteries are important and how much. So okay. So you're not convinced by that. Let's keep talking about cobalt for a minute. Where all do they find these resources?
Oh, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I do. Well, I'm guessing about 90. Maybe all is not in the United States.
Right. Very. Not even 10% of all this is in the United States.
That's what I was going to say was 10.
Okay. Yeah, and a good portion of it is in Africa, and a good portion of it are in countries where, according to UNICEF, not according to Tom Kelly, okay, according to UNICEF, there are at least 40,000 children who are already involved in having to dig this stuff up so far, according to UNICEF. Okay, now that's one of the most liberal organizations on the planet. If they could in any way turn us all to cart and buggy tomorrow, they would. And they're saying we got a major problem that a lot of this stuff that's getting mined right now is getting mined by kids who are as young as 8, 9, 10 years old. Do we not have a problem with this?
I do. I absolutely do. I also think that, those countries should have, I think that they're, I'm not going to say like a global reset of money. I'm not going to go into that kind of stuff, but I think that we need to start looking at how countries are valued and how much their money is currency's worth. Cause I don't believe $1 is $1.
No.
And I don't believe that like a country like that probably is operating on some very heavily exhausted numbers with lots of zeros on their bills, on their currency, when really, if you have a lot of resources like that, it should really make what, your country and in its currency more valuable. There needs to be a way to determine the value based on what you have to offer too.
Well, those are just a couple of examples here that I wanted to.
My point being that kids shouldn't be doing it. They should have a big enough. I mean, they shouldn't anyway, but they should have a big enough amount of money since they have this.
Oh, sure.
To be able to source it out correctly.
Let me see. I'm trying to pull back up the report here because let me see. Give me just a second, guys. I'm sorry. This is what happens sometimes when you live radio. One of my systems that I use to keep track of everything. About an hour ago, decided it was time to upgrade to Windows 11.
Oh my god! Why didn't you just say no?
Because he thought he'd have time.
Yeah. No, well, yeah. There's all that too. So give me just a second here. Let's see if that gets me where I want to go.
Looks like Josh is really pushing these likes. You guys smack that like. It's free. It literally just do this.
Radio people can't see what you're doing.
Right. Okay. So radio people, I'm taking my finger, exhausting little to next to zero energy, and just pushing it down about an inch, and press like. So I know you radio people can't do it, but I think you can feel our pain. You can sense that. Yeah, guys on the other side who can do this, why aren't you doing it? So the radio people aren't happy either if you're not smacking the like.
That's right. Yeah. So, okay. Well, I'm not finding the piece that I need right this second, but let me keep going on with a couple of these other things here that I think are important. Let's talk about for a moment charging stations. Now, I realize that you guys don't live in the same trucking world that I do, but are you familiar with the problem with truck parking?
Yeah, there's not enough of it.
Do you get how bad it really is? I know sometimes y'all as drivers,
truck parking. Can you explain that a little more?
That's what I was doing. I know that you guys are out there driving, and you drive down the highway, and you see a whole bunch of trucks parked on the side of the road at a rest area. Seen that, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe you come up to an area where there's a couple of truck stops, and there's like dozens of trucks. Because there are not enough safe parking spots for trucks across the United States. Okay, across the entire United States, there are maybe one spot for every 11 trucks. Okay, so at night, we have a terrible problem because people tend to sleep at night. Truckers want to sleep at night. So we don't have it all spaced out in such a way that everybody has a safe place to park. Well, there's a guy named Jason. I won't give you all the details. Jason ends up getting murdered, okay, because he parked in the wrong spot, and some guy taps on his window in the middle of the night. Jason gets up to see what's going on. The guy shoots and kills Jason. So they passed Jason's law. We're going to get safe parking for all the trucks in America. Well, what do you think happened to that money? All the money that they put together for that went off to fund new trucking schools and improve the highways and build rest areas that no longer allowed trucks. And they did everything but put the money into truck parking. Okay, so we have this terrible issue where we cannot find spots for everybody. There are two new bills, one in the Senate, one in the House, that are in the process of doing what they do, and as they start to work these things through Congress, we're trying very hard to make sure the money actually remains in truck parking. What does this have to do with electric vehicles? If we can't park the trucks, how are we going to charge them up?
I honestly think electric trucking is a joke.
Well,
more of a joke than the cars, though. We're not. That's just not a.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's.
This is the thing is that we do not seem to have any grasp on reality whatsoever, and yet report after report after report, and all this different news stuff that's out. Everybody's excited about the new Tesla truck. Everybody's excited about the new XYZ truck, all of these new trucks that are coming out, and watch out, we're going to get diesel off the road. We got California saying that they want no diesel vehicles sold by 2035 or sooner. I mean, that's their long goals. The long
2025.
Yeah.
2025 they have to be at 60%.
Right.
65.
But the thing is, we don't have a way to park the trucks to charge them up. So for a moment, let's assume for just one moment that we solved that problem, that these new bills come together and now there's safe parking for all the trucks. Let's say that we have all these different parking spots all along all the different highways. Do you realize what it would take to charge up one parking lot filled with electronic vehicle trucks, BEVs? The terms here are BEVs versus ICEs. Okay, ICEs are internal combustion engines. BEVs are whatever electronic vehicles. Okay, so you've got parking lot after parking lot where you can put 50, let's say, BEVs.
Is it battery electronic vehicles?
Thank you. Battery electronic vehicles.
I was just taking a guess.
Yeah, I know you're right. I just having a brain fart there for a second. So you got 50 spots for each. Okay. What do you think the power requirements are for something like that?
It's a equivalent of a megawatts for a neighborhood.
About 5,000 to 10,000 homes.
To charge how many trucks?
50.
50. Yeah.
50 to go, and then to go how far? How far? And again, these whatever numbers we're saying at this point are just made up by
they
these,
say
these
300 to
testing
500
companies
miles.
anyway.
300 to 500 miles.
And so let's call that 100.
Yeah. No. I'm willing to say, okay.
Okay, let's say 500. Let's be nice. Let's stay on the highest. Even that doesn't work.
Yes, exactly. Use their math, and it still doesn't work.
And let's not take away the fact that it's going to take up to an hour to charge these vehicles too.
Well, 3.5 to 3.8 hours on a truck that's carrying 80,000 pounds in normal weather conditions. With the kind of charge it would take would be around 3.8 hours. But now here's the other problem. I've got 50 spots. It's the middle of the night. What are truckers doing in the middle of the night? They're sleeping. Okay. So now I'm not using the full efficiency of the chargers that I have, because even though I've got parking spots for most everybody, that doesn't work that way. So you're going to have people pulling in there going, I need a charger. I can't get one because the guy who, has his truck hooked up to the charger and he's sound asleep in the back. I mean, my point being that
also getting them all installed. Like when we talk about infrastructure, the overturn of these charging stations for semis, I mean, the cost of each one alone, and then bringing the right amount of electricity to them, and then where are you getting that electricity from? I mean, it just doesn't. In no part of this math equation does it work.
Exactly, and I think it's important that, look, the people on this call, and you're smart people, okay, and you're going to get into these conversations around, you're sitting around with family at Christmas and all that kind of, and oh yeah, Martha and I were getting us a new EV, that everybody's going to be on EV within 10 years. You just watch. No, they're not.
Or just reply CNN much.
No, they're not. And again, I got nothing against the concept. I wish it was true. I do wish it was true. And I wish Santa Claus was true and he's going to swing by the chimney and give me $1 million. But it's not going to happen. And neither is this EV stuff. And we're being led down a road that, and this is the part, now I'm going to sound like Steve here, and the sky is falling. We're wasting a lot of time, energy, and money going down a road that does not have a happy ending. And I don't know what we're missing in the meantime, but all of a sudden we're going to be in a position like, oh man, we cut back on all this production, all this exploration, all this work that we could have done on the fossil fuel side, because we're going to move everything to lithium batteries. And now we can't do the lithium batteries, and we can't back up to where we were.
Yeah.
And, look,
I know how sometimes it sounds to people until they listen a few times, or until we get to know each other, kind of thing. But I'm not about the sky is falling. I'm just bringing some honest facts, and that's all you're doing right now too. It's about, and people have to wake up and stop. I'm not saying stop reading the media you like and that kind of stuff, but just take it with a grain of salt that maybe, just maybe, these people are lying or don't have a clue on these dates.
Well, see, the thing is, there are a few producers of this stuff that are lying, and they know they're lying. Yep. And then there's a lot of people who are really hopeful. Okay. They're they hope that this stuff is true. And they're
and I think you and I, Tom, and Gary, I think we all are hopeful too. We just have a more realistic scope of, listen, it's not even in the foreseeable future. We can't.
We've talked about this before, though. They're skipping the hybrid model, which that's what they should be going to, is trying to get more hybrids out there.
But even
than strictly EVs.
But even the hybrid model is only good for last mile when it comes to trucking stuff. First mile, last mile. As far as trying to do something hybrid across the country, the power isn't there to carry 80,000 pounds a distant any great distance. And people, they love the concept that, I have good friends who just bought an EV and they're going to have an extra 220 port stuck in their garage, 220, 221, whatever it takes, and stuck in their garage so that they can charge up faster overnight and that kind of stuff. And God bless them. I think that's great. But I think they're also getting hosed. I really do. I think that here's another issue that we haven't even touched on yet. Who do you think, how do you think that the roads get fixed in each state? Where do you think that money comes from?
It's supposed to be the federal government.
No, federal government doesn't do it.
The highways?
Yes.
The interstates.
Every road. The road going down your street. How do they fix that? How do they get money for that?
Tax dollars.
Which tax dollars?
The fuel tax.
The fuel tax.
Right.
Okay. When I switch everything from EVs, what happens? What are we already seeing in some states like California?
Well, they'll find a new way to label it. They won't call it the fuel one anymore. They'll have this whole new tax thing that we're going to have to look at.
And that's what's happening now in 31 states already. We are starting to charge extra cost for people who are driving electric vehicles because we got to get back the tax money. Okay, so some states it's already as high as $300 a year to re-register your electric vehicle because they got to get back the tax money. So all of these, I got these tax breaks and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. They got to get that money back. Every state's got to do it. And the problem right now is every state's doing it a different way. Some states are going to charge per mile that you drive on your electric vehicle. Some states are going to charge a flat rate. Some states are going to charge based on how heavy your vehicle is. So you pay one price if your vehicle's less than 6,000 pounds, and then they're going to charge those who drive the trucks thousands of dollars every year just to drive. Okay, and again, different in every state. Do you realize the chaos that's going to create when Connecticut charges $300 per vehicle, but Rhode Island has it set up so that it's per mile? Oh, yeah, it's not really my car. It's my brother's car. He lives over there in Rhode Island. So.
Everybody's going to register in different states.
Yeah, it's going to become chaos, and it already is. And again, nobody's looking to solve this nationwide problem that we're going to have if we get rid of fossil fuels. We're getting rid of all the tax that we're running all of our streets on. So you got to make up that. You got to fix that stuff.
What do you know about this?
It says the battery company CATL is in the process of making sodium-ion batteries for vehicles.
Great.
Right.
You can make it happen.
Right. And then test it, and then make sure, and then start with small areas. Again, I'm right there with you, Tom. It's like everybody just thinks that we can just magically switch too. I mean, that word infrastructure, maybe people need to look it up and reread it a couple times, because basically, why develop all these until we have a system that allows them to work and run?
You've got to, if we go to sodium ion, which would be great because we could probably get most of what we need just out of the water that's in the ocean. Okay. That would be freaking awesome. We've been chasing that for 100 years.
Right.
Okay.
The hydrogen car.
And trying
I saw I think you brought it up, and I went and was just kind of Googling, screwing around. I saw a 1948 ad for hydrogen cars by 1950.
Yeah.
We're a little overdue here, guys.
Yeah, I would love for them to come up with a sodium battery that actually has the power that we need to, for the drive chain to, work us through electric engines. There's all sorts of places we could fix this. My problem is we're on a path right now to do all of this with lithium batteries. Okay, this BEV push that we're getting across the board, getting massive funding from our state and federal government, all of that kind of stuff. We're spending millions, billions on this stuff, and it's not real. And I'm afraid of what it's doing. We're going down a path again that we can't complete.
Yeah,
you're dating a girl that you cannot marry. Okay, and
is that a dare?
you can't, because this is not a long-term relationship.
And I'll address this for Joe, is that we have talked about this here on the show before, the pollution caused by the batteries, the meltdowns caused by the batteries. That's a whole nother road. But why go down that until we address the fact that if you just do simple math, it doesn't work?
Well, yeah, okay, and
level.
and the carbon put out that's put out right now just to get the raw materials out of the ground, not even to build the batteries, just to get the stuff out of the ground, almost negates any of the plus. Not completely, but it certainly takes away a good portion of the plus that you get from here, because we're spending so much carbon to not use carbon that. Again, we're not negating it completely. I'm not going to say, because that's a lie. If we were to say it takes more to get it out of the ground than it does to say, that's not true. But it certainly totally reduces the savings that we're getting. I mean, if the idea is we're doing all of this because we want to reduce our carbon imprint on the atmosphere, this does not. The end gets you there, but you still have to build the battery. And right now, we don't have electric vehicles that are getting this stuff out of the ground. We have ICE vehicles that are getting this stuff out of the ground.
Or what about the Teslas when they have the full meltdown and you can't sell it until you get all this work done because it can't even pull up the info that you need to sell it? My point being with that is, like, when trucks do start, okay, let's pretend like we're realists here and that the whole country and world won't go to electric trucks in one day. And the infrastructure will just pop up overnight,
right?
Because it won't. So let's just be realists here. When they do start even doing certain areas, what about when there's major breakdowns? This isn't going to be like a master team at NASCAR going in to fix these things. They're going to be learning as they go.
Oh yeah, we certainly do not have.
I mean, like that alone too. You're going to have broke down vehicles everywhere. And what's going to be towing them? Diesel powered. Seriously.
Well, there's that. The other issue that's a part of that, Steve, kind of right on where you are, is every state has really strange and interesting laws right now about how you can buy electric vehicles. Okay, you cannot, in some states, buy an electric vehicle from a dealer that exists right now. Other states, you can only buy electric vehicles from dealers that exist right now. So in Louisiana, it's crazy. You can't go to Tom's car dealership and buy a Tesla. You can only buy a Tesla from Tesla.
So you can't buy anything used or whatnot. You have to buy it brand new.
Well, you have to buy it through Tesla. Dealerships aren't allowed to sell electric vehicles in certain states.
Is that because they can't maintenance them?
I don't know what some of the reasons. Part of it's just because the laws are old, and that's what the law says.
That's strange that an old law would have electric vehicles in it for something that.
Yeah. No, well, we just lost Steve. Bye, Steve.
But yeah, it's strange that the old law would have something in there about EVs when we're not even to a point where we can successfully have EVs.
Well, it's not that it talks about EVs. It talks about you can't sell anything but internal combustion engine cars. So in other words, a car dealership can't sell a horse and buggy.
Oh, okay.
So you can't sell anything but gasoline or diesel powered cars, and so that's created issues too. Hi, Steve. Bye, Steve. Hi, Steve.
Would you stop, Steve?
Hi, Steve. Bye, Steve. There he is.
Oh, are you bringing me in too? Like,
Yes.
what's going on here, dude? I'm still having an issue.
Yeah, you're still. I like
that. You're
that.
frozen.
Yeah.
Frozen. I mean, at least you're frozen in a good picture. But
there we go.
There you go. It's that iPhone camera, huh?
Fixed. Sorry, radio people.
Good. Yeah. So, all right, guys. I completely missed our second break here on the radio side, so I'm going to punch out a little bit early and take care of the things on the radio side, get that stuff done, and do the top of the hour news, all that. So a little bit longer break on the radio side. Here on the YouTube side, we'll be with you here. So stick with us coming into hour 2 on a Friday night of Driver Nation. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Stay right there.
Let me say hi, just do a couple. So Janet is with us from New Zealand again. Janet, drive safe out there. I don't even know what time it is there. You're literally on the other side of the world than me. But always like you jumping in. Roy's here. What's up, Roy? What's up, Brian? How are you? And Rideshare. Rick is with us too. And Tom, did you see his comment here?
No, I didn't.
You can't order a car to be built for you. You have to buy it from the dealership in Texas.
Yeah. What I'm saying is that there's all sorts of different rules, different places that we're not even consistent from state to state.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
To me, it's not even a real thing. I mean, to me, it just isn't real. Like, it's not yet, like to me, electric vehicles are Prius, like, oh, a Prius, right. Like, okay, a nice little hybrid car. That's what I think of. I don't really get farther than that. Not even to the Teslas. I think that those are not a solution. I think Elon's a smart guy. I think he will be part of a lot of huge things, but I don't think that we're there. I mean, Tesla has to build their own little charging stations too. And you have to have your car worked on by Tesla people, and you have to. To me, that's we're just not there. And maybe that's part of the problem to bring it around, that some people think we're not there with some of these states that are going to be changing their, the way they do things with gig workers. People just aren't. They're not with it yet. They're not even though we've talked about it, they're just not really catching on. Like they're getting like, oh, they're talking about something that will happen sometime. Well, now we're talking about weeks. We've been talking about it for a year, but now we're talking about weeks. Luckily it's not the whole country, but I mean, I feel bad for a lot of states because I know people in the states that are changing. Some of them are very on top of what's going on, or at least what I would call on top of, and some of them don't have a clue. And I especially worry for the full-timers, the full-time gig workers who don't have a clue. Like, it's... Wait, positive about, Instacart. I thought you meant independent contractors. I was like, I talk good about them all the time. I got something positive to say about Instacart. They're going to help get me some dumpling clients.
Hey, Anybody who's on this call right now, if you will give me your email address, I will send you a copy of this report that lays out just some of what I've been talking about tonight. It's 62 pages, but a very easy read and something you can flip through as actual facts as to what's going on with this electric vehicle stuff. So if there's somebody who wants that, Steve, do you want a copy?
Yeah, I absolutely want a copy.
Anybody else who does, let me know.
Tom, we can post it in the chat too. The link. Is it a link?
You got to fill out information to get to. I'll put the link out there. Let's do it that way, and then you can download it yourself.
But anybody who does want to, by the way, guys, I know a handful of you in here are working and whatnot. If you guys want to call in, I think that I've too many times said, hey, yeah, and you guys know StreamYard and how all this works, but 706-862-8620, you can call in too. You can be working.
Right. And it's just like calling anybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like phone style. You're not going to have an app run it, or you're not going to be going through StreamYard and killing the video portion. And it's just like making a call. So if you guys want to call in, please call in, because we're off 3 weeks. 3 weeks.
No, we're off 2 weeks.
Well, we're off
2 weeks, but it'll be 3 weeks when we're back.
From today, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll come back on the 5th.
All right.
Or the 6th rather.
Whatever that first Friday is.
Yeah, the 6th.
So he just put the link in, you guys. I'll notate that it's EV research.
It's fascinating. It is, if you care about this subject, it is the most complete and interesting and fascinating thing you could read. And when you read how they did the study, how they do the work, I mean, this is the math. Okay, this is the math. You can't argue with the math.
I don't get why people, even on the most basic level, don't get it. Like, let's look at California. California actually put this stuff in place, and people believe that. I find that hard to believe. I mean,
it's hard to believe that people believe that.
I really do. I find it hard to believe that people are like that. Most people are like, cool, instead of like, well, how's that happen when we have to turn off our air conditioners?
Okay. So Steve, we've talked before about that there are the people out there who have a left-wing agenda. Okay. And there are those out there who have a right-wing agenda. Okay. Well, pox on both your houses. Okay. But there's also a lot of people who are just tricked. They're sheep, and they're falling for this stuff, and they believe what the far right and the far left say, and
do you think the majority in California though are, or do you think? Because I mean, honestly, Gavin Newsom is like pitching this, and a week earlier he's on TV saying, "Hey, we got to kill the air conditioners because we're going to overload the grid."
It's all about money. A lot of these people, it is. I'm sorry to be so cynical, but it is only about the cash that's going to end up in their pockets.
Yeah, I mean, that isn't just a old saying that isn't true. It's follow the money and you get to the answers.
Follow the money, and that's what a lot of this is.
It really is. But it's just, to me, it's crazy to think that Newsom has been very vocal even to the state. Like, it's not like a lot of stuff gets done not behind your back, but unless you're looking and asking, you wouldn't notice a lot of changes that get made. So that's Newsom's doing that like right up in your face.
Yep.
And then a week later, he's saying, turn the air conditioners off. We're going to kill the grid. Okay, well, that makes no sense to me, sir.
Yeah. All right, we're about 30 seconds or so out on the radio side. I'm going to bring us in a little bit early for our montage commercial. I want to play that here. So a little over 10 seconds. And that'll play, and then I'll bring us in after that.
station, TNCRadio.live.
TNCRadio.live, your commercial driver navigation station.
We're all about the news, information, entertainment, talk radio, music, comedy, and topics truckers want to hear. I'm Shelley Johnson with Tom Kelly. We're talking with retired NASA engineer Homer Hickam, who's the author of Rocket Boys, which inspired the movie October Sky. We're talking with Alex Debogorski. He's one of the original stars of Ice Road Truckers. Chip Davis of Mannheim Steamroller, music icon and Grammy Award-winning country artist Lee Greenwood. We're speaking with racing legend Mario Andretti. Michael Martin Murphy is a legend on the music scene with wonderful ballads and hits like Wildfire and Cowboy Logic. Curtis Grimes.
Michael McDowell, the 2021 Daytona 500 winner.
Our guest this afternoon is Tom Bodette. You know the name, you know the voice.
The Carolina Monkey Gouger, Jimmy Artis. Today we have the honor of speaking again with Long Haul Paul. Today we have Claire Dunn and Logan Mize with us. Stay tuned and stay safe with TNCRadio.live.
All right, welcome back in TNCRadio.live. It's Friday night, and we're talking all things in the gig economy. This is Tom. I'm here with Steve, and along with us is Gary, and we're all here talking about things that relate to the world of rideshare and delivery and anything around the world of the gig economy. I've been spending the last hour really pounding away on the false promises around battery electric vehicles, BEVs. I am not in favor of ICEs, internal combustion engines. I just don't believe that what we have set up right now, the path that we're on, this panacea bullcrap of we're going to have everybody running on lithium batteries here in the next few years is in any way true or can be true if you just run the numbers. Anybody who wants the reports, who wants to do the math themselves, and Steve, I hear you say this all the time, and I always respect when you say it. Do your own research. Don't trust me. Okay, come look at the math yourself. I'll point you on both sides. Okay, of these studies, but look, it's just you got to go with what's true and what's not true, and the truth of it is, there is no math that gets us to a safe electric vehicle world in the United States of America anytime in the next few decades.
Yeah. In fact, you speaking of this before we do move on at all, Rodney, if you want to call in, it's not StreamYard or anything, 706-862-8620. That would be great because I think you're just joining us. Hi guys, you're in California. I'd like to get your take on a couple of things that we were discussing about how Newsom is. I mean, just how the California people deal with this stuff. I just don't know. If I lived there, I would see right through this. This wouldn't even be. This wouldn't take me long at all. I'd be like, what is he talking about?
Well, we do have a caller, and so I want to introduce and welcome in Rideshare Lisa.
Hi.
Hey, how are you this evening?
I'm all right. Things are going good.
Yeah, you seem kind of mellow this evening. What's the matter?
I had the day off today. I actually just
we
chilled all day long.
We woke you up. That's the problem.
If you have the day off, why aren't you working with us then?
Working with who?
Us. You should have dialed in.
Oh, I was doing some stuff earlier. So
yeah, right.
Lisa, blink twice if you're being held hostage.
Hey.
Or put him on. Let me talk to him.
Rodney, the number is 706-862-8620. That's 706 TNC0. So you got the day off today. You're going to be working this weekend?
Yeah.
Do you like to work the holiday itself? Will you be working on Christmas Day, or do you do the home stuff on Christmas Day?
Oh no, I'm going to be home. This is actually my first time. I've only been full time as a gig worker since June, so it'll be interesting to be able to plan my schedules, see my family, and just be around the house on Christmas here with my family instead of having to worry about going to work.
A couple of years ago, we have one of those families where we've got in-laws and stepkids and all that. So a couple of years ago, it worked out where I had nothing to do on Christmas Day, so I decided I'd work, go drive, and went up to the airport where I figured nobody else is going to be there because everybody's at home celebrating with their families, and the rideshare lot was filled. And there's a reduced number of planes on Christmas Day, so we're all like sitting around going, well, I had this great idea about nobody else would be here. I didn't think anybody else would be here either. So a whole bunch of us were sitting there going, yeah, I didn't think you'd be here either. So.
Oh, wow.
You got to this isn't Jay. This is Janet. Her name is Janet, and she lives in New Zealand. So
that's great.
Yeah. Hey, Janet, you should send me an email, steve@ridesharerodeo.com, or Gary. You can email Gary too, Gary@middletontech.com.
Right.
But I'll if it's even to me, I'll put you in touch with Gary because I'm sure he'd be interested in talking in chatting with you about that because he's working with it all the time. So.
All right. Well, I have kind of dominated the conversation tonight, Steve, and I apologize for that. But
you're very passionate about your evening.
When somebody's that passionate, I'm like, go, man. Yeah.
So what do you have for us that you want to make sure we cover tonight? We've still got close to 45 minutes left in the program.
I don't know. After your rant, it's like
I know, right?
Well, you have to do the Instacart one, Steve. You have to do that one just because you're such a fan of Instacart.
Okay, so there is an Instacart story out that even the title, you just know it's clickbait going in, but you wonder how dare they, first of all, with this headline. 3 reasons Instacart is cheaper than going to the grocery store. Okay, well, I'd like to debate that and give you 300 reasons it's not. So, starting with, first of all, let's just at least talk about this. They don't even use they don't even use the grocery store's prices. They make up their own. So what are you talking about? But so the 3 reasons are the key points is Instacart saves shoppers time and energy in addition to money. Mix and match Instacart with traditional in-store shopping for best experience. But here's what they come up with for the 3 points. So shoppers save time. So, okay, I understand that. I understand your time is valuable, but are you saving by having somebody go to Instacart shop for you? And then shoppers can compare prices quicker. I don't know that that's really true. I would think that somebody who's shopping for themselves could do a much better job if they're out of one thing, figuring out what to get instead than an Instacart shopper. I would debate that all day long. And number 3 is about the only one I really see. And I don't even think it's that big of a deal. It just means make a list before you go, is shoppers avoid impulse buys. But to me, it's like, this is, I don't, some people might have mixed feelings on it, but this is a motley fool. It's a good place to get some news sometimes, for sure. But to me, this whole article is just every part of it's wrong. You don't save any money in Instacart shopping.
I totally agree, but I do want to introduce, we've added another caller in here. Is that Rodney?
Yes, it
Rodney.
is. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Hey, Rodney, what's up? First time I've ever heard your voice.
I know, right?
It's a natural California voice.
Yeah, well, and that's so for those of you that don't know Rodney, he's in California, and he chats with us in a lot of lives and whatnot, and we talk about a lot of stuff. But I guess Rodney, the main thing I wanted to ask you is, I think you're pretty in touch with the reality of things, and like, how do you? I mean, you don't like, even if you don't agree with Newsom, you don't like him, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's there. How are people, or are people in California really convinced that these are realistic, like 20, 25, 65% electric only, that 20, whatever it is, X amount more percent each year until it reaches 100, which is like only 4 years after that? And then, I mean, are people convinced that all that's true and that they're going to have charging stations at every house and this is just going to be a dream come true? Or do people understand that when your governor tells you to turn the air conditioners off, you're not there yet?
Steve, to be honest with you, what I believe is that most people don't even care. Honestly, they're just fighting so hard and working so hard to survive, to feed their families and put a roof over their head. And it's
right,
obvious that a lot of people out here are very, they're very upset. They're pissed. They're mad. You can see it in their demeanor, the way they, everywhere, driving everywhere. It's very sad.
Because you've been out in California, what, your whole life?
My whole life, yeah. Yeah, I've been here for before, I was born.
Right. So you have you ever seen what you're seeing in California now? I've been seeing California people move into Colorado for about 15 years, but I've not seen what's going on in California ever before. I feel like people are just leaving constantly in the droves, and they just can't make it work there anymore.
Well, yeah, it's so high cost of living to live out there.
Yeah, it's everything is very expensive. I mean, I struggle myself. I have a decent retirement, but lately I've been chilling. I haven't really done any DoorDash or Uber because I just want to relax for a little while. But I'm gonna have to get back to it because I've been using some of my savings up. So I'm just it's the same for everybody. There's a lot of homeless people here. They're almost at every plaza that you see. They're in the malls, at the malls, in front of those, entrance, and it's just crazy. At the gas station, 7-Eleven, it's just very difficult to live in this state, And as far as Newsom, my thoughts are that he doesn't really care about us. He says he's going to do things, I guess like all of them do. He says he's going to help the homeless. Yet he didn't do anything. He didn't really do anything to help them. Downtown LA, there's this, when I was doing Uber Rideshare, I think it's Figueroa or some street. The whole street has tents, and it smelled, and it's just awful. Yeah, I don't go down there anymore, but it's pretty bad.
I don't even think they're trying to move them anymore. Like pre-pandemic when we were doing the gentrification, like even here in Denver, it's like you're constantly moving these groups of homeless around, and you're kind of even directing them. You're going to go here now, but I don't even think that happens anymore because there's too many. What do you do with them?
It's crazy. There's just too many for, what are they going to do? They have no place to go. They don't, what are they going to do?
Back in February, I was still using this same joke, only now it's not funny, which is that like San Francisco was my joke that, either if you live in San Francisco, you're in the 1% or you're homeless. That's it.
Yeah.
And it used to be a funny joke, and now it's not that funny because it's actually kind of true. I don't know. I'm just, I guess I find it hard to believe that, because it's meant more taxes for you guys. This is why Lyft made an initiative. It lifted it. to say, okay, Newsom, if you want these fake dates for electric, then the 1% pays 90% of the bill. Because what they knew that this was just a way to add in a whole new tax line and then not meet deadlines. It's like autonomous. Don't even get me started on that. That timeline's moved for decades. So
right. And they had this on Thanksgiving, like Thanksgiving week. I think it was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thanksgiving Day. They had this thing in parts of LA County because it was supposed to be really windy, right? So they did was shut off people's electricity because they were afraid of fires. So on Thanksgiving, a lot of people didn't have electricity. Can you believe that?
That's crazy.
I can't. In an odd way, I can believe it, but I also can't, because a lot of times those fires are started just for ridiculous reasons. For some reason, you guys have lost the ability a little bit in or at least how, I don't want to demean any firefighters at all, because they work their tails off, but somehow they used to dig out those trenches or whatever you'd call them to slow a fire or stop a fire at points. It seems like you guys are missing a lot of the let's get ready for fire season. And I don't know. It seems like the whole state's going kind of a little bit wacky. I know it's always, probably the wacky state, but it seems like it's going wacky in a bad way, really bad. And it's worrisome to me, it is.
Yeah, they have those airplanes that, help you put the fires out, but they're only, they can only use them, they share them with somebody else, I forget what other state, but they can only use them certain months of the year. For 2 months or something. So, yeah, it's crazy out here. I would not recommend anybody moving to California. I want to move out as soon as I can. I can't. What's holding me back is I'm having to take care of my mom. She's stubborn. She's 90 years old, and she has her own house, and so I can't leave her. So I'm just gonna just gonna ride it out and just wait. Who knows? Could be another 10 years.
Well, I tell you what, we got to take a break on the radio side. But before we do, Rodney, I just want to thank you. There have been so many times over the course of us doing this show in the last few months where you have typed in just a couple of sentences of great wisdom and forethought and, just good stuff. I really appreciate you and appreciate you being involved in this work that we've been doing on Friday nights. I know you've been involved with Steve on other nights too, as far as giving input there. But I just didn't want to go to the break without taking a moment to thank you and many others too. But since you're on the phone here right now, we can talk to you. Just want to say thank you for participating and adding wisdom in here. And sometimes, and you also have a great sense of humor, and you've more than once made me laugh. So I appreciate that very much.
Well, thank you, Tom. Thank you very much.
So,
and I wanted to tell you, Tom, that you definitely have a great radio voice, man.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And Gary, you're great too, brother. So are you, Steve.
Well, we're going to take a
Rodney.
Side. We're going to be right back.
Thanks,
with us on the YouTube side. We'll be right here with you. TNCRadio.live Friday night. Driver Nation. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
So here's a comment from Rick. There's no fire season anymore in California. Fire is year around in this state because they are not taking the provisions to thin out the brush. And then he says, and the winds are much stronger than they used to be, spreading wildfires like crazy. And finally, I am personally being forced out and don't know what's going to happen.
Is that Warrior Rick or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on another chat earlier. He lives where I was raised at in he works there anyways. He works in the San Fernando Valley. That's where I grew up at. And down there, no offense to anybody, but down there it's even worse where I'm at, I don't know. Who am I to say?
Worse meaning more expensive to live?
Worse means as far as population and I mean, I went over there, to look at the old house I grew up in. And then I remember the streets were empty. Now, every block that the house, street that the houses are on and everything, there's cars up and down every street. I could not believe it. I guess because people have to live, the families have to live with families, right? So that's, it's crazy, man. Very crazy stuff.
It is.
And anyway,
it is.
You guys having me on. And hey, Steve, I'm going to be on Tab Vlogs Universe. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
When?
Yeah. Tom's wife, right?
Yeah.
Music City Gig Hustle. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When is that? Let's.
Wait. What's he going to be on? I didn't quite. He said he's going to be on something.
He's going to be on Tab's new channel, which is Tab is Tom's wife, and Tom is Music City Gig Hustler.
Not me.
So his wife has a channel now that she just started. So, but he's going to do. I think he's going to be doing a live stream with her. Yeah.
And eventually, I'm going to be on the round table. I just didn't.
Next year. Next year. Yeah. When are we going to start taking people around the table again? January, February?
I don't know. I nothing against anybody at all, but we got a thing going with our group. Sometimes when we bring in an outsider, they do amazing and really add to the whole thing. But sometimes it's like, it can throw us off a bit.
Right.
You know what?
Just because, and it's no offense to anybody. We've gotten very used to each other. I don't know.
Can I say something? Can I say something?
Yeah.
You guys should push John Dash Theory's channel, man. Sometimes he used to go live and nobody would go in there.
Oh, we do push John.
All right, let me bring us back here on the radio side.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
All right, so here we
All
go.
right, I'll
in
talk to you
3,
guys later, okay?
2, 1. Welcome back in TNCRadio.live. This is Driver Nation on our Friday night, and we are live and talking all things in the gig economy. Just had Rodney on with us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Rodney. And Lisa dropped off and got back on. So, hey, Lisa.
Hey, I got new earbuds and I touched them, and then all of a sudden I didn't hear anything. So they're new. I'm still getting used to them.
Lisa, you get any snow up there yet, Lisa?
I didn't what?
So did you get any snow up there yet?
Oh yeah, we have a lot of snow. That's why I took today off. Today, we're supposed to get snow up until like midnight. Well, thank you for asking.
We need to real quick talk about this. This is one article that I had a few pulled up, but I like the way tonight went. It was different, but we need to talk about this. Did you see this? It's on NBC News. It's on every news. It actually populated news last night and today that we've talked about Uber Connect before. And I've told you guys that when it was in California in the Bay Area, it got shut down for being a major drug smuggling ring. Not Uber, not the drivers, but gang members were using it from one side of the bridge to the other. And then it's now come back, and whenever I bring it up, people laugh a little bit. This is one of those times we're going to be addressing something again because headline news with NBC today, GOP lawmakers want answers from Uber about drivers allegedly transporting drugs. This is all via Connect. They're concerned about, if these people don't know what they're taking, same kind of thing I've said. Who are we going to blame here?
I mean, what can they do though? I mean, you can do the same thing through, UPS, FedEx.
Curry, but again, you have a more B2B establishment on most of the time. Even if, I don't know if you guys have gone into like mail out a package recently, but like we have a UPS store here, for example. So if I don't go to the post office, I go to the UPS store, they are very questioning about what I'm sending, even if it's like a hat or a sweater. It's like I got a 19-year-old girl like interrogating me. What's in the box?
Wow.
I've never had these kind of questions from places like that in the past. But they really like interrogate you kind of about sending
Typically, I
packages.
just
So
drop it off. They say, is anything valuable or breakable? I'm like, nope. They're like, okay, have a good day.
yeah, I think it's just the fact that it's the fact that that if you can let me see if I can just jump into this part. So House Republicans sent, and again, this isn't political. I'm just reading an article, people, from NBC. House Republicans sent a letter Thursday to Uber asking the tech company, that's yesterday, by the way, to explain what steps it is taking in response to drivers' complaints that they are being asked to deliver packages they suspect to be drugs. The letter from the House member of Energy and Commerce Committee cites reporting from NBC News that described the concerns of drivers, as well as the case of a 22-year-old Arizona woman who died from an overdose of fentanyl that her mother said was delivered via Uber Connect, a courier service that the San Francisco-based ride-hailing company started at the beginning of the coronavirus so that people could send small items across town.
Right. But again, they want to know something, but they don't have a solution for it. They're looking for.
I guess my point is, though, I think it's too easy. Connect's just too easy. I mean, like, here, let me stick this in your trunk. Bye. There's no paperwork. There's nothing. You're just doing it through the app. If you go on other places now, like, you are signing. There's this and this. Check that box. Like, you're agreeing to do a bunch of stuff. You're on cameras and.
Right. And I know that we're talking about Uber here, but also later on in the article here, they're actually going to target Alto, Lyft, and Rodeo as well. So I think they're probably looking for some type of better security system or system in place to ship packages through third-party apps instead of the postal services that we currently have.
Yeah. Right. But I guess my point is, but again, I can see where they're coming from with Uber, though.
Right. Well, I can see where they're coming from on all
the
of
other
them.
couriers. Yeah.
Right. But at the end of the day, there's like you or UPS and FedEx that they can ask you what's in the box, but they don't actually know. You could be like, "Oh, it's Christmas cookies." They're like, "Okay,
right."
It could be a pound of something.
You're on 5 different cameras. You're
right,
signing
but they don't.
something.
But they don't scan it. Like they don't have drug dogs that go through their facility.
No. But
right, so it's the same thing. I get you're going on it.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying. That there's more security in the store.
Less likely to use that. If Uber Connect exists, why would you even go there? Just use Connect. Send all bad items
I can drop mine off. I can print the label at home and just drop it in a Dropbox with no security cameras, anything for US or UPS and FedEx. It's
I just don't think that's
Connect.
a step. I think it's another step, and people just don't want to take it. It's making it too easy, is what I'm saying.
Well, get in a car and go deliver it. It's easy for anything, but I'm just wondering what are they expecting to happen, or what does anybody expect to happen with it? Is my question. It's a good thing to point out a problem, but at the same time, somebody should have some type of solution to go with that problem. Unless you're going to say, well, you're going to have to show the driver what's in the package, or something along that lines. I've read through the article real quickly, and nobody in this article is suggesting anything. They're just saying we're asking for an explanation. And I don't know what explanation they're looking for, because unless they actually,
I think it's because of the brand name behind it, Uber. If they can at least, even if nothing gets solved, if they can just have the discussion in a public forum so that news picks it up, so that more places become aware of the problem, that maybe that will help start to control it. And it's like, if you're going to pick out, like, okay, let's talk about big box stores, not Amazon, big box stores. You go to Walmart. If you're going to talk about transportation of items, last mile courier services, you're going to go to Uber, not to Rodeo or Freight or Curry or any of those.
Right. It did say in this article as well that if you suspect that you are delivering a package full of drugs or whatever, or that somebody's trying to do something illegal, if you report it to Uber, that they do actually ban the account and report it to law enforcement as well. So,
yeah, but
see,
think about that process though. I think there's drugs in there. Okay, well, are you talking about you already have them? The person's gone. You're in your car alone with it now? Because now you have to call the police. They have to come out. What, are they going to examine the package? What if it's not drugs?
I'm just reading what the article said.
I know,
that was my first thought too. Whenever I read it, after I read it, I'm like, so what? They still want them to transport it and then report it?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I think of it this way, and this is probably a bad analogy, but I'm going to say it because if somebody's doing rideshare and they get in your car and they're taking, X amount of cocaine or something on their person, I'm not okay with that as a driver, but I don't need to know about that if you're in my car.
Oh, I've actually, as a rideshare driver, I've actually been pulled over after I dropped off a passenger by the drug enforcement people, and they had drug dogs all around my car and everything, because they suspected that I was the one peddling the drugs because I dropped off somebody at a drug house.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So I completely get it.
But Uber Connect's just almost, it's just ridiculous. It's almost like you can, you could just run out in your boxer shorts real quick in the snow real quick and say, open the trunk. Okay, take it there. You're going to go. Like
somebody carrying out 2 duffel bags out to the car real quick. Throwing
or 2 guys carrying a rolled up carpet. With a big lump in the middle.
Right. Don't worry about it. Don't open the package.
I'll tip you through the app.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that, we've been talking about it for a long time. This is the last show. We're in the last half hour of the Driver Nation for this year. And I think, like I said, when we come back, I think there's going to be just a barrage of which articles do we cover, because there's going to be so much to go through. And then each week that goes by, it's going to get worse for a while. And I don't mean the sky is falling again.
But isn't the first quarter of every year pretty bad though?
I mean with the changes though, like floor and ceiling payments meeting, and why can't I earn anymore? What do you mean I have to be an employee? What's a franchise? Like,
franchise. So now we're, instead of ICs, we're going to be franchise owners.
No, but they might. Dude, I would think it's more likely that in most, if in these, like, okay, let's say that Massachusetts, the full state, even Boston goes to the wall. I think it's more likely that I totally forgot where I was going with that.
Just went my blank, huh?
I had a Tom moment.
If that happens, Tom, thank you very much. Whoa.
You said you had a brain fart earlier, so I just called it a Tom moment.
Okay. All right, you little Winnebago.
I don't mean it like a first quarter. Let me just say that. I don't mean it like first quarter earnings and and like January is a tough month for gig workers anyway. I mean full-blown changes. I mean unionization and people going, what do you mean? And what do you mean I can't get on the app? Dude, not only are you not reapplying for your job, you don't have a job.
Right.
Like right now, you don't have if Uber goes to, or all of them go to an employee model in your state, you don't have a job right now.
No, you're going to have to reapply.
Yeah, of course you don't have a job.
Yeah.
They're going to have, I don't know, it might be a simple thing like, hey, it's all can be done online, whatever, 10 minutes, put you right back up. But there's going to be a process to talk through.
But that's still going to be, how many gig drivers we think, 2-3 million, something like that?
Or what?
That's a lot of people to go through in a short period of time. So there's going to have limits because there's no way they're going to employ that many gig workers. Like they're just not.
No.
They're gonna have to put caps on every city.
And that's where I was going.
Yeah.
That's why I think more of the franchise model, because I don't think Uber's going to want to deal with every city and the problems of fluctuation, they're going to say, you know what? Here, Boston gets 20 franchises for the whole city. We sell them to these people, and they get to employ people, and they'll run them. So then you're going to be going in and meeting with those people if they want you to work sector 14 in Boston.
So do you think that in 2023, Uber is going to try and pull what they did, during the first part of, how they used to be Uber cab, and then they realized that, if I drop the cab, I'm no longer regulated. Do you think they got something up their sleeve like that? That's going to come in 2023?
I know they do. I mean, we just saw that. We were talking about that last night, Gary. The Uber waiting until what? The 19th is how long out?
Right. What I'm getting at, I mean, like not even like to where they're even regulated anymore is what I'm getting at. Like they switched to a full pass-through system, billing system is what they switched to, and then they allow drivers to set their rates and things like that. Do you think that they're even considering anything like that in 2023, so that way they can say, hey, we're just credit card processors. That's all we are.
I think Uber, I mean, personally, man, they always seem to pull something off at the right moment, right? Like you were saying, like they, right when you think
last minute Hail Marys, yeah.
And I mean, they're in with governments. We know this. They do free rides. They do all kinds of things. They probably give behind the scenes kickbacks, all kinds of in front of the scenes kickbacks. But to be honest, like I think people have kind of had it with the Uber excuse too. So if the legislation gets pushed real hard, I mean, what are you going to do? I don't think even Uber can go, well, we're just, I do think they'll play that, well, we're not going to do that card in a lot of places. And then let the other side make a lawsuit and then just try and push that lawsuit for 10 years.
Oh, so you just think they're just going to try and bully their way through it again?
Yeah, but I think the end result of that is very easy to get to, which is less money for drivers. Less than what
it's always
what
less money for drivers.
It's always less,
money.
exactly.
Yeah.
But this would mean a lot less because they would take it out of the drivers.
How much more can they take?
Okay, guys. Hey, we're going to take a break on the radio side and be back in just a couple of minutes. When we come back, we're going to be wrapping things up for the year here on TNCRadio.live's Driver Nation. And I want to finish off with real data again, talking about which states have the best and worst drivers. We'll have that when we come back here in just a minute. TNCRadio.live. Is your state on this list? We'll be right back.
By the way, I take back everybody that I said a Tom moment.
It's all right. I can handle it. Well, overclip, but I'm all right.
Hey, before we come back, though, I did want to say that you guys remember the Grand Rapids shooter, obviously, right?
Oh, yeah.
For Uber. That's like part of the base of Tremaine's movie and whatnot. So if you guys didn't see, did you see this thing about New Orleans?
No.
So I don't normally, if you guys saw that an Uber driver fatally attacked in one of the posts and you're like, why do you put that? Because I don't normally put that stuff. There's 15 a week. So I don't post those.
Right.
I put this one in there because it was a little bit different because a fiscal analyst at the New Orleans Police Department who worked her second job as an Uber driver was stabbed to death by her passenger in New Orleans in Jefferson Parish. She was stabbed 3 p.m. on Thursday, 54 years old, and in a hotel parking lot. But here's the kicker of the whole thing. So following his arrest, Jacobs, the guy who did it, allegedly confessed to having killed Dylan. According to authorities, quote unquote, he told detectives that he selected the victim at random because he wanted to kill someone.
Jeez.
That's just crazy. Just wanted to.
That was the thing. That's what he told the Jefferson Parish sheriff when they got there.
This is ridiculous.
You know how they initially start and you're usually like, I want a lawyer kind of thing. Instead, they were like, why'd you do this? And that was his well, you know,
I wanted to
I
kill someone.
you know, I just wanted to, you know, that was random. I just wanted to kill somebody.
Wow.
I mean, and I say that because in any situation it's messed up, but that's messed up.
That's totally messed up.
You know, it's just be careful out there, guys. And if you're doing rideshare, be the awesome rideshare driver. Be the person that, you know, makes people feel comfortable in rideshares again, in case they've had a situation or even been uncomfortable with the last driver that they had.
Right.
I mean, I've been uncomfortable with drivers that I've had, and I've done rideshare since 2015. So I mean, that says a lot right there. You know, I've gotten into cars and not just been like gross, but been like, this isn't, you know, like, why does it smell like cigarettes? Why are my feet on the ground in the back seat, but they're at the seat level because I'm stepping on that much trash?
I wouldn't even got in the car. I wouldn't even got in the car.
I mean, clearly I'm over exaggerating, but I'm just pointing out that, you know,
Hi, Ash.
You know, if you do 4 ride shares, you might have 4 completely different experiences in the same city on the same day, even, you know, with the cleanliness, with the attitude, everything. So it's not a system that works in a way where it's like, oh, you'll always get a good driver with Uber. No, you won't. You know, it's what it is.
Josh, I know it's not an Uber, but when free cab is that what they're calling it? Free cab opens, you can go do that with us.
Yeah,
he's in Philly.
Hey Ash, how are you?
Free.
I refuse to accept it. What is she? You don't do rideshare, do you? Oh, you're talking about delivery. Okay.
I think she means she refuses to be sick. She said she hopes she's not sick.
So I've got this idea, guys, that I want to do after the first of the year. And Steve, I'll have to have you help me because somebody will have to run the board if I'm out doing this. But what I want to do is do the show live remotely from Uber cars and take a bunch of short trips. And as I get out of each one, you know, we'll talk to each driver, you know, how you doing? How long you been driving? What do you think? And as I get out of each one, I'll give them, you know, like 50 or $100 or something like that in cash and make their day a little brighter.
What if they're awful?
Nice.
That's
we at least have a talk with them.
Yeah, it's not about that, but I think it could be a lot of fun, and you know,
Lisa, you can just like drive around the block, keep picking Tom up.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. Ash, I don't know if do you have the same problems? I know Ash says she wouldn't do rideshare here, and I fully respect that, and I agree why, but
no, keep going. 10 seconds.
Oh, okay. So, no, I was just gonna say, do you even have the problems with violence that we do? The violence part, not the other rideshare issues, but just the violence. I don't know if you do.
2, 1. All right, welcome back in TNCRadio.live Friday night, and we're closing up the shop here in just a little bit. But before we do, I wanted to, and again, you guys know how I am. Give me the data, give me the numbers. So this company went out and they're using only insurance records. Okay, so this is how they're determining the best and worst states. So which states have a bunch of drunk drivers, which states have a bunch of accidents, which states, and they gave weighting to all of this kind of stuff. So the worst driving state in the nation, I'll give you each a guess. Right here, Lisa, what do you think is the number one worst state in the nation?
New York.
Steve, what do you think is the number one worst state in the nation? Gary, what about you?
Oh, that's hard. Let's go Chicago.
Chicago is not a state, but
Illinois. Illinois. Well, I mean, technically, the only thing really in Illinois is Chicago, but
actually, Steve, you were closest.
Peoria.
California is number 2. Utah is the number 1 worst state in the nation. Yeah, it turns out that our good friends there in Salt Lake City and others have.
Is it because all their ice maybe that they get? They get a lot of black ice during the winter.
They have terrible problems with people driving on the wrong side of the road. They rank number 1 in speeding. They let's see, they are.
I thought it was going to be all those like extra wives trying to get off those camps. Like, you know how they're always like tied down there too. So like you got 15 wives, 14 of them are hauling out.
The comments made on this show are not necessarily those of the management or the. Yeah, thanks, Steve. So California, America's one of the second worst. No surprise there because they're California. They rank very high in DUIs. Also, they rank high in every single category. But they didn't win any category. They're 3rd in accidents, 7th in speeding, 13th in citations, and 2nd in DUI. So number 3.
2nd in DUI.
Number 3, Iowa. This is a great improvement for Iowa, which has held down the number 1 spot in the last couple of years. So go Iowa. And it's good to see you improving. Wisconsin is next. And then Ohio. So what are the best driving states? Steve, we'll go first with you. Which got number 1 for the least DUI speeding and all that kind of good stuff? Which state do you think was number 1?
If you wouldn't have said DUI, I was going to say Michigan. So let me think for a second.
Well, I'm going to give that to you. Michigan, number 2.
Okay.
Number 2.
I'd actually put Colorado up there with good drivers too, but I know we have a lot of DUIs here.
No, I would not put Colorado.
Colorado is
Michigan for sure. If you take the DUIs out, I think they'd be 1.
Yeah. So Michigan.
I'd say Wyoming.
Michigan's number 2. Connecticut, believe it or not, is number 1. Connecticut. But then Michigan number 2, West Virginia number 3, Delaware number 4, and Arkansas number 5. Texas, my good home Texas here, comes in 24th. So we're right in the middle. Right.
But how do they figure these? Like, how do they figure? I'm sure it's per capita, but how do they do Utah? Like, I know Utah pretty well. I go ride there. It's my neighbor state. There's not a lot of people in Utah.
I think that's because it is per capita. It doesn't take that many DUIs to put them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You get one rash of them one weekend, and all of a sudden Utah won the. Because just to divide the total number of DUIs by total number of drivers, and all of a sudden it gets way out of kilter. Colorado ranked as number 12. 12 worst. 12. They're the 12
worst.
Florida is the 21st worst. And let's see, where did New York come in here? Where is New York?
Jeez.
It has to be top 10.
New York is 13th best.
13th yeah.
Best. So how about that?
Where does Maine fall?
I
need to know, like Maine, because that's like a very beautiful state with barely any people in it again.
Okay, Maine is.
Where's Oklahoma?
Oh my gosh. Okay, let me find Maine. Maine. It's not in any order here, so I got not on that list. Maine is 8th best. And Oklahoma 14th best.
And as Gary taught us last night, in Oklahoma, you can be topless everywhere, male or female.
Sure can.
Only 2 things come from Oklahoma. I don't see horns in you, boy. All right. All right. Hey.
Yeah, my kid lives down there.
I know.
Oh, geez.
All right. Hey, guys, we got to wrap it up. We've got just a few minutes. As you heard at the beginning of the program, Gary'sApps.com, Gary'sApps.com. Lisa, tell me your quote.
Gary'sApps.com.
You won't drive without it, right?
I won't drive without it.
There you go. Thank you, Lisa. Got to pull it out of her sometimes. And then Steve, Rideshare Rodeo. You got anything planned? What can people look forward to over the next couple of weeks? Or are you going to shut it down a little bit?
No, sir. And you can find all gig economy news, audio podcast, and social media links on ridesharerodeo.com. And the Rideshare Rodeo audio podcast drops every Tuesday and Friday, anywhere you can find podcasts. Tuesday, the OG original Rideshare Rodeo podcast, and Friday, the Gig Economy Roundtable podcast. Boom!
Oh, look, he got a script.
I scripted, I told you.
Yep. So yes, send me over that script, and I'll take care of you, buddy. So that was smooth, very good. And then there's Rideshare Lisa. Rideshare Lisa, you going to start posting up here, giving us some new videos pretty soon?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I got my Discord up and running.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So check out Rideshare Lisa, check out Gary's apps, check out Rideshare Rodeo and UberLiftDrivers.com. And of course, TNCRadio.live. Hey, I'm going to just ask for a personal favor right here from everybody listening in today. Need some help. Getting real close to the end of the year, and every hour that somebody listens counts, on what I can say we did in 2022. I'm going to be playing over the course of the next couple of weeks a lot of Christmas music and fun programming and stuff like that. You're driving around, you want to listen to some Christmas music, you're wondering where you're going to go to, listen to TNCRadio.live. Give us, you put it on Christmas Day, and, it'll be playing in the background. And we're not going to be doing anything too fancy or whatever, but want to get my listener numbers up here at the end of the year. So unabashed, just put it out there. Hey, listen in and help me out so that I can finish the year with some real good numbers. We're really strong. We're going to be right on the edge of 100,000 listening hours coming up here very soon. Right at 30,000 downloads for our podcast. It's been a good year, and I want to finish strong and get into doing some fun stuff coming into the new year, starting 2023. We got some new programming coming. Alex Debogorski from Ice Road Truckers is going to be back on with us again, and we got some new shows coming on. Yesterday, no, actually, we published it today. We did it yesterday. Interviewed John Schneider, and he's got a new movie out that there are some of you who really enjoy it. I'll put it that way. So check out our John Schneider interview. That'll be out there on our podcast pretty soon. So a lot of good things going on here on TNCRadio.live. Hey, you're not sure whether or not you want to listen to Rideshare Rodeo? What does he do? What does he talk about? What's he do? Stay tuned. Next couple of hours, that's what I'll be playing right here on TNCRadio.live. And you can check it out for yourself. And if you like it, go over to Rideshare Rodeo and subscribe and start paying attention to what it is Steve's doing all the time. So that's for those of you who are driving. I want to thank everybody who's been with us the last several weeks here on YouTube. It's been fantastic, great interaction with everybody. Steve, thank you for everything for this year. Been incredibly fun year. We've had some great shows, and especially the last couple of weeks, I've just had a blast, and hope you all have too.
Yeah, and can I thank you, Tom, and I want to add in one thing. For the super daring, download the app. Or the super awesome. They wanted to give Tom that little boost too. Download
Radio
the TNC
app.
app.
Yeah. And I actually prefer that, because on the app I can open it and then I can go do whatever I want, and it still plays in the background.
Exactly.
My browser doesn't always do that on my phone for whatever reason.
Right. Yeah. So they, they'll let you do multiple things on the phone. You can keep listening, all that good stuff. So, and people say, well, the app isn't very fancy. Well, no, it's built for truck drivers. We can't make it fancy because for a lot of truck drivers who are using apps, they're only allowed to press one or two buttons within any particular app. So we try to keep it as simple as possible. But always good stuff playing out there.
Content. That's what matters.
You bet. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, that's going to wrap it up. I appreciate everybody listening in. Have a fantastic Christmas, a happy New Year, and we'll see you again right after the first of the year here on TNCRadio.live.
See you, folks.
All right, we're out.
You guys have a good Christmas.
Thank you, Lisa. You have a wonderful Christmas, guys. Gary, Steve, really, I appreciate you so much, and I wish you the very best. And I'm sure we'll be catching up with each other and nothing else. I'll talk to you again 3 weeks from right now.
All right. Well, good night, everybody. Peace,
Good
and
night, everybody.
I'll see you. We'll see you when we see you. We're
See
not
you
going
in a
anywhere
few
for the
weeks.
holidays, but we'll be around.
Peace out.